What's up, ladies and gents? This is KSigKid coming at you with another Destiny video. Today, yes, we're doing a little bit more of an earlier morning video because we wanted to go ahead and go around the tower and see what god-tiered vendor weapons we've got. Yesterday, Iron Banner dropped, so of course we wanted to do a preview of what Lady Aphrodite had, but we're not going to forget the vendors in the tower. So we're absolutely going to go and visit them and see if there's anything god tier. And I just want to say before we get to the tower that it has been amazing the past few weeks seeing the notification squad coming in. They're giving those views, they're giving those likes. You guys are absolutely ridiculous and amazing. Thank you very much. Let's get to hopefully some god tiered weapons. We're going to visit each vendor and highlight the weapons that look really amazing, and then we're just going to kind of go over really quickly the other weapons. As far as New Monarchy, as usual, he's not really bringing the heat. But I will say that the Impeacher is definitely the top dog of all of them. So Impeacher is actually looking relatively strong. You have to like that fastest rate of fire sidearm. And down here, we've got Quick Draw, really great on sidearms. And then you can increase your range a little bit with hand loaded. And then of course you've got Reactive Reload. So overall, this is a pretty solid sidearm. Now there's one other weapon that I think looks kind of fun, but it's gonna have to be a specialty weapon. So this Deposition with Ambush Scope in the middle, even though it's gonna lower your aim assist, I think some people might have fun with this Ambush Scope, explosive rounds, and then mulligan over here and take a knee and maybe treat it like a little bit of a fun, harder hitting scout rifle. Again, that's not gonna be for everybody. That's not necessarily going to be in competitive play, but I think some people might actually have a little bit of fun with it. Not going to be my cup of tea, but I could see the fun in it. Also, this machine gun has some interesting stuff. So it's got Life Leech. You don't see that perk very often come up. You don't see it come up all that often at all. So we've got Life Leech, and if we could only really increase the stability better, I guess you could do it with soft ballistics, but it does hurt your impact and range a little bit. But with that, increasing your stability, then you've got high caliber rounds, which is absolutely amazing whenever you're dealing with PvE enemies. You could put on Life Leech, and then you've got Hidden Hand. So that one's not the worst thing in the world, it's just a little bit unique. As far as the rest of the stuff, it is really nothing worth mentioning. This auto rifle is simply never ever going to be good, because you're never going to be able to boost up that stability to where you need it for that fastest rate of fire auto rifle. The hand cannon, free will, it's going to be yet another pass. That's the big problem with New Monarchy. They've got all these different guns in all of the worst archetypes of weapons in the game. That makes it really difficult to find a weapon and a perk set that's going to be absolutely amazing. Similar with the shotgun, just not what you want, not for PvE and not for PvP at all. So unfortunately, New Monarchy not really bringing the heat. The number one choice would be the sidearm. And let me know if you're the type of person that might actually have a little bit of fun with the Deposition. As far as the Crucible Quartermaster, we've actually got a couple guns that look pretty fun. So why don't we just start off with the Palindrome. Everybody knows every single week the Palindrome is going to be good. Yet again, it's good, mainly because of our middle perk, which is going to give us maximum range. So Mulligan, yet again, we've got Spray and Play, and then we've got Rifle Barrel. Getting max range means this is going to be a really good gun, so feel free to pick this up, though chances are you've picked up a god tier one, and last week's Palindrome was actually a little bit better. Now the gun that I think looks a little bit fun is, yet again, the Sniper Rifle. The Event Horizon has some interesting things. Now unfortunately, it does not have a scope that people are going to love, so because of that, that's the one thing I think that's holding this back a little bit. In the first tree, we've got Underdog or Mulligan. Mulligan's a pretty solid option for a sniper rifle. Then we've got explosive rounds, fun, and a big time impact here on this sniper rifle. Or Casket Mag. So get your magazine size up to 4 with this big, massive rate of fire sniper rifle. Casket Mag, very, very good. And then we've got Firefly. So obviously you could utilize this thing in PvE for sure and have some fun, whether you want 4 bullets in the magazine or explosive rounds. So I think that's kind of a fun weapon this week. Also, well, let's just move on through the rest of this stuff. The 0 Day Dilemma, not a big fan of this one. Not a big fan of this weapon. I think we're just going to pass right on by this one because I don't want to lower my magazine size, even if it might work a little bit better with glass half full. We're just going to pass on this one. Not my cup of tea. Now, I typically crap all over the party favor, but this week, actually, I think it looks relatively solid. Passing on to our first perks, if partial refund has a decent chance to proc, this could help to alleviate that magazine size issue. Because I don't know about you, but I find myself getting assists with pulse rifles quite often. So getting some of that magazine back after an assist would be good. You've got perfect balance right here, so way better than any of your magazine size lowering perks, or a pendant magazine for increased magazine size. I'm probably going to rock out perfect balance here if I go with partial refund. And then we've got glass half full, which actually goes well with our lower magazine size. So I think the party favor is relatively solid, surprisingly, this week. Moving on to our hero formula, yet again, another pretty solid and fun looking gun. A fast rate of fire scout rifle. You could have outlaw, or for those of you that love take a knee, here it is. And then braced frame for all that stability. Unfortunately, it hurts the magazine, which is one of the benefits that this scout rifle has. Armor piercing rounds, not sure if that's the trade-off that you want. Or third eye. Again, I typically rock out the memory of Gjallarhorn, so third eye doesn't really do a whole lot for me. But overall, this scout rifle isn't bad. Also, speaking of not bad, we've got Each New Day, which is a pretty solid fusion rifle yet again. Like I said, Crucible Quartermaster has pretty much everything good going for it. Perfect balance, look at that stability, really nice. And then you've also got counterbalance at the end. So pretty nice and solid fusion rifle. Moving on to the curtain call, it's looking pretty good. Why is it looking good? Well, final round is actually good on a shotgun, but we've got max range, and that is absolutely what you want on your shotgun. We've got max range and performance bonus, so people are always looking for more ways to get special ammo. This could do it, or sliding, shotgunning. Anybody ever do that in PvP? I've seen it happen. I've seen it kill me a lot. So overall, not a bad curtain call. We've also got not a bad sidearm. Again, Crucible Quartermaster coming in hot. This is a really solid sidearm. Again, that fastest rate of fire type of sidearm. We've got ourselves Feeding Frenzy. I love that. That's really nice on a sidearm because you typically have to reload after getting a kill with the sidearm anyway. And then you increase your range just a little bit with hand loaded, and you've got rangefinder. So very solid on that. And then finally, for our last two weapons, the Chaotic Neutral. You'll have to be the judge if this is something that you would want. I would probably pass on it. Not that it's the worst gun in the world, but I would probably end up passing on this. There's so many things to spend your legendary marks on each week. Finally, the rocket launcher, which actually could be a decent PvE option. Tripod, plus Field Scout, and then either Battle Runner or Army of One. All really solid perks on this rocket launcher. All really solid perks. And you have decent blast radius just to begin with, though you're going to have to shoot this at the ground or directly at enemies. Again, Crucible Quartermaster had just a lot of really nice stuff. This thing might sneak up on people. This might sneak up on people as being a pretty decent option, and surprisingly, party favor actually pretty solid this week. Moving on to Mr. Vanguard, he's got 3 weapons that I really like. We had a god tier Parthian shot last week, and it's pretty good yet again. So counterbalance here, hand-laid stock, definitely like that. Look at that stability, and I'm not really that worried about the range. And then outlaw, or take a knee if you want, but outlaw, hand-laid stock, counterbalance, really digging that. So Parthian shot, pretty solid yet again if you didn't happen to pick it up last week. We've got 2 more that I really like. I'm gonna go over to this heavy machine gun. I like the Bone Crusher. This actually looks just like one of the ones that I actually have, and I'm a fan. I am definitely a fan. So unflinching right here, or underdog if you prefer, whichever you prefer right here. And then quick draw in the middle. Definitely go quick draw. And crowd control. Whenever you start getting kills and proccing crowd control, you're going to hit like an absolute truck. And you've got a heavy machine gun. So this is going to work out really well for you. If you've never tried this super slow rate of fire machine gun, maybe pick this one up. Maybe it might be up your alley. And finally, the weapon I was debating just a moment ago, the Angel's Advocate. I think this actually looks like a pretty solid roll. So I'm not really going to increase my stat stability, but I'm going to put on Zen Moment right here. And I think that's going to help me out instead of Braced Frame. Now Braced Frame, yes, that would increase my stability stat, but I want to go Zen Moment, high caliber rounds, and then Return to Sender. I think that this could be pretty solid overall and a lot of fun to use. Now, if Zen Moment isn't enough, you obviously could swap over to Braced Frame, but that's going to lower your magazine size. Not exactly sure to what. My fear is 11. That would be kind of low. That would be kind of low. So high caliber rounds, Zen Moment, and Return to Sender. The rest of the weapons, nothing that I'm really digging. The Continental, yes, it has counterbalance, but you would lose so much range with hand-laid stock that it's really not worth your while at all. And whenever we get on over to this hand cannon, don't let the range on this hand cannon fool you this week. It's not going to be worth your while. It's not going to do what you want it to do in PvP. Yes, you are getting as much range as you can get with Rifle Barrel and Rangefinder, but it's not going to be enough, especially on this archetype. So don't let that fool you. In the Fusion Rifle, this Fusion Rifle is simply never going to be good. I said that before with Unto Dust, but I feel pretty confident in that with this weapon. Yes, even with Braced Frame, you're down to 3 in the magazine. No way. Pass on that. Teacup Tempest, not that bad. Not the greatest in the world, but not that bad this week. But I feel like you could say that with almost any single sidearm roll. It doesn't seem like sidearm rolls get a whole lot of crazy diversity in them. They all relatively seem solid on paper. Now I really don't like this shotgun right here. I would love to see a full auto roll next week with some decent perks. We're not getting full auto though, and we're really not getting anything amazing, so pass on that. And of course, we've got our sniper. All these sniper rifles, super low impact. You do have a decent scope here though with long view, lots of aim assist there. And the perks aren't terrible. Perks are all relatively solid. It's just, whenever I put it all together, it's really not something that I totally want to put on and utilize. So we're going to pass on that and move on finally to our rocket launcher. So you've got that cluster bomb and you've got that heavy payload. So that's some pretty nice blast radius and some damage there. But it falls apart a little bit here in this first perk, and I can't really recommend it. So that's going to be the Vanguard. 3 things I really liked: Parthian Shot, Angel's Advocate, and the Bone Crusher. Coming over to Dead Orbit, there are 2 weapons I strongly recommend. One I'm going to absolutely have to pick up, and we're going to get to that right now. It is the Keystone. So people who have your hung jewelry, you already know what this is all about. This weapon looks like it's going to be a really good time in PvE. First off, we've got extended mag, so boom, up in that magazine size, or quick draw if you wanted it. I'll probably rock out extended mag. In the middle, I might like something a little bit different, but unflinching doesn't hurt any of my stats or magazine. I guess if I wanted to basically cancel out my increased magazine size, I could do this, but that little bit of a stat increase isn't worthwhile. I'd rather get more bullets and then just put on a free perk. And of course, Firefly, everybody loves it. Everybody loves it. For our second recommendation, it's going to be the shotgun, the Last Ditch. So the reason why we're recommending it is because you can increase that range and impact just a little bit. But whenever you start going into the other perks, you've got hand loaded and then you've got hammer forged. So hand loaded and hammer forged are the only ways to pretty much increase the range here on the Last Ditch, and I believe that combination together will max out your range. So that in combination with field choke, you've got max range on a shotgun that also has crowd control. So I like it. Last Ditch and the Keystone, those are my recommendations. The other weapons, we're going to be passing these by. I'm a big fan of the Extremophile, but this particular loadout doesn't really cut it for me. It's really not going to cut it, so I would pass. We've had much better Extremophiles before, and it can roll with much better perks. Same with Worlds to Come, really not anything crazy. I don't even know if you can increase your stability at all on this, and it doesn't look like it. It looks like you can increase the range. Yeah, we're going to pass on by this one. And same thing, we're going to get another pass with the sniper rifle. Some of the other sniper rifles look like they had a little bit of fun elements to them. This isn't really in that same category, so pass by this. And finally, oops, it was so bad that we just passed right on by it. It's the rocket launcher. You all know what it was. We picked it up 1 week, and now it's just back to normal. Tracking, Perfect balance, battle runner, flared magwell, snapshot, just no, pass, pass, pass. We were better whenever we just skipped out and didn't even view it. Finally, we have Future War Cult to close out the week, and Future War Cult has a number of solid options, but one option that I absolutely love, and it too is the scout rifle yet again, the Wounded. This is looking really, really nice for PvE. So we've got explosive rounds, which is just a phenomenal perk in PvE. Explosive rounds, triple tap, and then crowd control. This is going to be good, really good. Would I pick this or the Keystone? Oh man, I don't know. I wish this thing had about this much more stability on it. About this much more stability. Unfortunately, it doesn't. And if you had it, you'd have to get rid of one of these perks, and they are all really good perks. I like the Scout Rifle. Definitely a good recommendation. As far as the other weapons, again, most of them are solid, except for the first two. So the Whale, yeah, no, we're going to be passing by this one. We're going to be passing by this one, unfortunately. Not going to cut it this week. Same with the Waltz. We're going to pass by the Waltz. It feels like forever ago that we had that absolutely perfect Waltz for sale. Now we're just really, really falling behind, so pass on that. The other weapons though are at least usable. So we've got the Fusion Rifle, the Weighting, and we can increase the stability just a little bit. We've also got Snapshot right there, so Perfect Balance and Snapshot, or knee pads if you wanted, but I would go with Perfect Balance and Hot Swap. So we've got a lot of utility for swapping over to our Fusion Rifle and then charging off a shot and getting the enemy down. Finally, we've got our Wormwood and our Rocket Launcher. So the Wormwood, it's looking good. Wormwood always looks good. Wormwood almost feels like a palindrome, where it always comes with really solid rolls and solid perks. Pretty good. You probably already have one. You've probably killed a lot of people with it already. And finally, for our Rocket Launcher, the Warpath, it is a Cluster Bomb rocket launcher, but it is not Cluster Bomb and Tripod. Still, it definitely looks like it has some punch for PvE, for sure. I mean, you've got tons of blast radius, max blast radius if you keep aggressive launch on, plus Field Scout and Cluster Bombs, and a little bit of extra velocity, or at least the velocity that you'll lose for aggressive launch. So overall, not too bad. But yeah, that Wounded. The Wounded, the Keystone, man, we've got Scouts coming in hot again. Angel's Advocate even. Seems like Scouts were really the flavor of this week. Anyway, guys and gals, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, smack that like button and subscribe to the channel. Check out these awesome videos. Good luck with your raids, your drops, your vendors, and I'll see you around in Destiny. # I'm scouting you.